Well, most of the McDonald family is sitting here waiting for the bus. Oh my goodness. Happened last night. That happened all from 11 o'clock till 7 o'clock this morning. So lots of snow. I guess my first reaction, always, because I'm always thinking about the barn, was should be fun to train the babies with the flip-flops on tomorrow at first line. But all they have to do is get the snow off the track. If it stops snowing and they can just remove the snow, then should be fine, I would imagine.
Ollie said it wasn't going to stop snowing.
For 15 minutes.
Ollie's not a meteorologist, so I think we'll just go with...
Meteorologist.
Yeah, we'll just go with looking out the window. Races were canceled last night at Mohawk, so we didn't get to race my 1%, didn't get to race Matt's MVP, but we'll school them tomorrow. Now, hey guys, stop. That leads to another problem. We're droning tomorrow. So what I did to help James, because also Brian Fantana wanted a couple of drives, and Greg Wade went with a couple of horses that he did well with the last 2 weeks. So I condensed 3 sets into 2 bigger sets of 8 because we had some scratches. Well, not really scratches. They haven't gone yet. My father's colt, I forget his name. James Arthur is his name. And Huntsville filly, and the other Always Be Mickey filly, not quite ready to go. Certainly not quite ready to go with these guys just yet. And also myself in this bar, still not gated up. He's getting better. He's getting stronger. He's getting shinier. So Carrie's doing a good job taking care of him, getting his spirits up. We'll eventually get him to pace. It's one of the most frustrating things as a trainer is to not be able to get your horses gated. No, just stay here for a second, bud. You're going to have all day to play in the recess, right? There's cars going around. Just stay right here. So, yeah, it's incredibly frustrating, but the one thing you can do, you can't rush. They're going to get their gait. They will get their gait. I don't remember any horse ever in my life never pacing or never trotting. They will get their gait.
What if they pace and trot?
Some horses do. I drove a horse a long time ago that had the world record for being double gated, and I know his name. His name was True Story. It was a long time ago. Anyway, so we didn't get to race. Sailor race yesterday and made a break. I think Brett got in a tight spot with him. I hadn't really talked to Stacy and Brett other than to say Sailor's really challenging Walk on the Moon for being the most annoying horse, especially after Walk on the Moon raced so good yesterday. Second in 54 and 3 in the mud, and Dave Malone let him rock, which was good. That's what he needed. That horse beat him fair and square. You know, I didn't think that horse, when he beat us last week, I thought we should have beat him, but Moon just kind of did the moonwalk. But yesterday he was on the front. Yeah, the fractions were a little hot, but it looked like he was comfortable on the front, and that other horse just came and picked him off. So a good race by... Sit back, sweetheart. A good... Oh, okay. You can do that. A good race by Moon. Lackluster race by Sailor, and one of the most, I can't really blame anybody, one of the most frustrating races to watch in quite a while was Atlas Hanover. Here, Tim Tetrick. You got a booger right here. Come here. What do you got going on here? You stinker? Do you need a Kleenex? Oh, okay. So, Tim Tetrick went out of there at 2-5. Just looked like he was going to let out the dust settle and clear to the front. Typical kind of paint by numbers race. Here. Good girl. That's a girl. And then there was a horse. The guy couldn't get in the 3-hole and had to keep going. So Tim just kept following him, thinking he was going to be released to the front. Then he'd clear to the front. He almost got released, and for a second, Atlas Hanover was 3 wide in front of the stands. Then got back on cover. Now the guy's parked. Down the backstretch, he's got to move him 3 wide. It was just a horrific trip. And it wasn't really Tim's fault. Like, you could see what he was doing. The guy in the front and the guy that wouldn't, the guy that left kind of got stuck in the way. And everybody just kind of said, no 3-hole for you. No front for you. Hey. And it didn't work out the way we wanted. So it's just one of those rare trips where it was disgusting, but you couldn't really blame anybody. The guy that got parked was just trying to get out of the way and get his horse placed. The guy that parked him and filled the hole, you can't really blame them. That's their job. And here Tim is leaving out of the outside and kind of got in a bad spot with Atlas Hanover. So it doesn't happen that often that it works out that way, but it happened that way yesterday. No bus yet? So today I'm going to go over to the barn and give everybody a hand. We got a lot of horses to jog and get moved today. We are droning tomorrow.
Hi, everybody.
For those of you who are following along, we usually go with about 3 sets in Ontario. We're going with 2 larger sets of 8 tomorrow, just because the math was there. We have 4 horses that aren't going tomorrow. Myself and the bar. What's that filly's name? I didn't know. You didn't know. Something like that. There'll always be Mickey Filly, the other one. And then James Arthur isn't going. And then Rito's Lady, the Huntsville filly's not going. So apparently we have 20 horses right now in the training center. I thought we had 21, but we have 20 babies. And they're going to be going in 2 sets of 8 tomorrow. Really, really pleased with the way the Ohio trip went. You guys, I had a lot of trepidation going over there. I thought that, Wednesday was going to be a disaster. The horses hadn't trained regularly for a bit. We have all these new caretakers at Oliver and Addie. We have all these new caretakers that are learning their jobs. How are they fitting in? I had my concerns, and when I got there, I was just so happily surprised to see people fitting in and learning their job in the most professional way, and then to see the horses go out and do the work as well as they did. I went over a list with Jason. I said, if I come in Thursday morning, if it's not raining, these are the ones I want to go with. Memory and imagination. That was pretty much it. And that was just because he was being a goof and nothing more. He's just being a baby. So, super pleased with the way things are going. It's January the 13th, and I'm very, very happy with everything's going. Now, a lot of people noticed yesterday. I see, ma'am. Yes. It's upset because I'm parked here. I see yesterday a lot of people noticed that we did buy a horse. Now,
I tried pull me.
Hey. Okay. Listen to me. Pay attention. Get out the door with your brother. Look both ways. There's cars and snow everywhere. You walk around the door and help him get out. Okay, love you. See you. Hey, do good in your test. Oliver, pay attention and study for your test before your test. Do you understand me? Oh, it's right here. Ollie, study for that test before you go in. Fell down. Anyway, we had bought a horse named HP Blue. Now, here is a very, very interesting story. So, a couple of months ago, the original owner of HP Blue, HP is Harry, HL Blue. What am I saying? HP Maestro. HL Blue. I couldn't, the original owner of HL Blue, his name is Harry Landy. Now, I trained a horse for Harry. Amy and I know Harry. He's about Amy's age. Nice guy. Pretty well-off guy. And a nice guy. And he was selling a bunch of horses a couple of months ago, and I looked down the list, and I knew that Mark, my brother Mark, had known some of the horses. He said, he's got a horse there, HL Blue, that's not a bad horse. He had got good money for the horse racing in Mohawk right now that we had bid on. Richard Moreau has him. You see him, Yannick Gingras owns a piece of him. Anyway, we had bid on that horse. We had bid on the other horse, HL Revadon. Bid on both those horses and didn't get them. They went for too much money. They went for 6 figures, I think. And Mark had said there might be this other horse in it. And Harry didn't want to sell him at the time, HL Blue. His lines, he's got 1 lifetime win, a mark of 56, but you can see who he raced against when he was 2. King of the North, Temporal Hanover. He raced twice against Looks Like Money. I think he beat him once, and then Looks Like Money, his first lifetime start, Looks Like Money won the maiden. HL Blue was like 5th or 6th. Anyway, in that grouping at 2, and then just kind of lost his way towards the end of the year. And Harry said there was no injuries. He made a couple of breaks and then changed some equipment, and he just wasn't the same horse. So, very sporadic. But when you look at his thing, you're like, oh, this horse must have get injured. But you have to know Harry Landy. Harry Landy spends the summer playing polo and sitting at the country club, which I could do. But there might be weeks on end where it's just turn them out in the field. I'm busy playing polo. That type of thing. Cool guy, but that's Harry in a nutshell. So he told me, he said, no, I was working with him, riding him, and I was jumping stuff with him, and I was like, these are racehorses. You're not going to race them? He said, I was gonna, and then I decided it was spring, much like the Walk on the Moon situation. He's a beautiful black stud. White. star on him. He said, I just thought that the Amish should come by and give me a pile of money for him. So I thought now was the time to put him on gate. Well, a bit of a, it's going to take a little time. It's hard to get a straight answer out of Harry. He said he's been jogging and ready to start training. That could mean he's 200 pounds over. One thing I can assure you of Harry Landy's horses, they're not skinny. This horse, if I was to guess what he looks like now, would be somewhere between a hybrid Muscle Hill hippopotamus looking horse, about 200 pounds overweight. So right away, I'd asked Mark about him. Mark, now keep in mind, my brother Mark might be the cheapest person in the universe. Now, I don't know anybody from Mars or Jupiter. Definitely the cheapest person on planet Earth. And he wanted to buy a piece of the horse. So I have a number of people asking me, and I told everybody, I got to keep some shares back for the stable.ca, right? That's my job. I don't know how many there are going to be, but there are going to be some. And I am going to put them up. Now, I've had a couple of people ask for shares. Now, you can do that. And truthfully, you'll get the shares for anybody else. But there may only be 10 or 20 shares for the entire stable.ca. So, this horse, just full disclosure, may not be ready to race for 2 months. He may not be ready to race for 2 months. But Mark believed that there was some talent there. Harry Landy verified that and said there indeed was some talent there. He just... not really the type of guy to go out and train in the cold and then train in the mud. And he's more of the June to September trainer. You think I'm a fair weather driver? I haven't seen anything. Harry might just not go out for a month. Might just put them in the field for a month. So HL Baloo is a Trixton. He's a Trixton colt, so that might be another deterrent for some of you. I like the Trixtons myself. They're pretty honest horses. HL Baloo is, if I was to guess right now, 100% sound, 100% overweight, and probably ready to start training slow miles, which is what we'll do. Now, here's the rub. He's in the New Jersey area, and if my brother Mark wants to jog him for a little bit, I certainly don't have a problem with that. In fact, I don't know where I'd put him if we did bring him home right now. Like, if we buy horses next week in that preferred sale, we're going to have to literally send some horses to Ohio. LD's Patrick might go to the Meadows, and I know the vast majority of LD's Patrick by now, I think, is owned by me. And I'm not giving up on Patrick yet. I can always throw Patrick in a 10-claimer if I really think that he slid and regressed. I just think that there's a horse in there. We just haven't found it yet. Another reason that I want to get the drones over with, we're going to start at 8 a.m. and probably end at 9 or so. And the reason being, I want to go school LD's Patrick. A lot of people ask him, why is he not in to go? Well, I don't like him when he makes breaks. And off the rail, yeah, I get it. But James's description was, he made a break for no reason. All right. Show me. I want to see this no reason break. So I'm going to go with him, and I'm going to school him about 55 if I can. And then, well, no, there's no, maybe 57. And then we'll put him in to go next Thursday, if that class is offered again. I believe it is. Now there's a 3,000 he's down till now. And I'll go with him myself. So it's just one of those things. I mean, that's why we have the protocol, so to speak, that we do in the stable. James has the horses going good right now, and doing, he's the best driver in Canada. What the hell do I need to drive for? But when it comes to a horse like this, I want to get him back on track, back in the swing of things. And, between Dominic and myself, we should be able to do that at some point, I would hope. He can go again, and James can drive him. It may be something just as easy as we had winter corks on the horse, and it was muddy and +3 out. There's a reason we don't wear corks on horses in the summer. It's not really conducive to the track surface and the way their gait is. So, it may just be as easy as that. So we'll see on Saturday. So I think we're going to try and get on the track at 8 o'clock. We'll have 2 larger sets for everybody. I hope the track isn't icy and covered in snow, because that may be a problem for some of them. But such is the case in winter. So today, I think we have a couple racing, don't we? I don't think we have anybody in Canada that I'm aware of. Excited to watch the races Saturday. Going to sit down and watch some football with my wife. I had a long week, right? That's my job. I love it. And you'll notice that I put Jody Jameson on Sintra on Saturday night. Harry called and said, James texted me, then Harry called and said, James said so much more is scratched. He's going to drive no free lunch. Are you driving Sintra? I looked at the forecast. It's like minus 15 with the wind chill. I said, just put Jody on him. He was down to drive no free lunch anyway. And besides that, I think Jody may have made like $1.3, $1.4 million with Sintra. So we'll just go with that. So I'm going to take the night, relax with my family, maybe go to dinner, watch some football with Amy, and take it easy for Saturday and Sunday. Because next week I want to go over to Ohio again. We got our horses in that are on a bit of a roll. I guess one win isn't a roll, but are doing very good right now. I'm super happy with Stonebridge Acadi. Super happy with Dustin Hanover's mile the other day. And Jason says, he's got to move up now. So that horse showed that he's coming forward. He's going to be able to trot in 56, 55, I think, in the next month or so. Just got to keep racing him the same way. Sit, move him. And he saw attack down lane. Listen, he could have been second. He would be able to, wow, 58-2 to 57-1. That was a big mile for him tonight. No. He came and got that horse, and he wanted to get him. So I think we get Dustin Hanover. You're seeing the progression of this horse, like I told you he would. Stonebridge Acadi has tons more to offer. Big mile from him the other day. And also, like I said, I want to get some horses into Northfield Park. They've been very accommodating to us, giving us a lot of stalls. We have a lot of babies there. We don't have a ton of horses racing there. I would like to be nice to have an open type pacer and an open type trotter there. We just don't have those right now. So a lot going on. Patrick de Piranha races today in HB Maestro. I knew who raced today. So a lot going on right now, a lot to watch, a lot to do. The crappiest part of the year, staking, is coming up. So I'm going to have a serious look at where we're staking. Some of these horses like Punch the Clock, we're going to aim for probably August, as you can imagine. But what other horses? What other horses are staked heavier towards Kentucky? What other horses? I would say, after we've learned what we learned the last few years, it's impossible to say, but there are some horses we're going to focus on regionally, especially Pennsylvania, having them ready, like Austral Hanover was. Now, Austral Hanover made like $65,000 last year racing in the Stallion Series. I would like to focus on some of Pennsylvania's races. And if they're dual eligible, maybe we can look at Kentucky. But again, there's overlap there. So there is some factor trim that we've learned about this year. So I'm going to sit down again. Today is Friday. I'm not doing anything tonight, Saturday night, or Sunday. I'm going to spend the weekend with my wife. Take a look. We don't have the sheets yet. I'm going to ask Jim if he can get them for me today. I want to take a look at the sheets that we usually have, run down the horse and say, okay, this is who I think is slated for regional stuff, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Ontario. These are some of the horses I think could be more, where we're looking at Breeders' Crown or Hambletonian for some 3-year-olds. Now, you might say, oh my God, the Hambletonian. The payments for the Hambletonian really aren't that high for 3-year-olds. 2-year-old stuff's high. Breeders' Crown and all the Kentucky stuff, that's high. So let's see if we can take a real good look at it and see if we can break it down regionally. This is where we think these horses are going to go. Now, a horse like Insider Trading, Pennsylvania, but we also want to focus on some of the other stuff too. There are some horses we're going to have a little bit more heaped on their plate, but I think we have a better idea of who we can treat a little more regionally this year. So we might be able to save some money this year. That's always the plan. And this is the trickiest part of the year. I truly wish they would switch to the Australian way of doing it, where they just have everybody stake on sale day. No one knows. Everybody's excited they got a horse. Now's the time to stake them. And I mean, that would open up another revenue stream for people that want to help stake people, right? Monthly payments or whatnot. More revenue for the industry. Anyway, it's another talk for another day. But for right now, I think my job for the weekend is going to be get a handle on that. And see if we can't look a little closer at some of the horses. So I got the weekend. I'm going to sit down with Amy. Her and I are going to go over it. Still got lots of stuff to do. Got taxes that have to be taken care of and licensing that has to be done today and a number of other things. But on the top of the list for at least the latter part of the day will be starting on our staking. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. A little bit of a long video for the morning, especially since we didn't have a lot of racing to talk about. But I'm here in, as I said, here we go. Oh, Winter Wonderland as we pull into First Line and get the horses going for today. So I'll give you some more videos. Obviously, you get your weekend videos coming up tomorrow. But for today, looks like it's going to be a nice quiet day here in Ontario.